What do we mean by pedigree analysis? So we are going to discuss about this very, very important and a very scoring topic of genetics unit, right? And almost every single year you get a 2 marker or a 4 marker from here. So we'll understand about it in detail. So pedigree analysis. Pedigree in genetics term means that when we are trying to analyze a family tree, right? In this, what we are doing, we are trying to analyze or we are trying to study a family tree. Okay, why are we studying a family tree? The family tree is being studied in order to find out the pattern of inheritance, right? We are trying to study the pattern of inheritance of what? Of a specific trait, right? Of a specific disease, of anything which is being showcased maybe in the next generation but might not be there in the previous one or in the subsequent generation. So for us to find out that what was the origin, what is the pattern of inheritance of a specific trait, what is the pattern of inheritance of a specific disease altogether, for this the pedigree analysis is done. First thing. Now, when we learn about pedigree analysis, the very first thing that comes to our point is the various symbols. Okay, because in every question that you will see, in every single question that we have in the examination, the symbols are used up. So if you have a square, if you have a circle, if you have a square and a circle together, or n number of segments, so what is the meaning of each one of them? So understand this. When I am showcasing a male figure, I'll be showcasing it with the help of a square, right? So male is showcased with the help of a square. Female is showcased with the help of a circle. When I want to showcase a relationship between the two, the spouse being together, this is the male, this is the female, and if this line is there in between, that means these two have their next generation being produced. So this is a couple, right? So over here we are showcasing the relation. Now if I want to showcase the next generation, that is the male and female interbred together, and as a result, in the next generation we had a daughter and they had a son, right? So this is the next generation, this is your the parental generation, and this is your F1 or the next generation, or the what do we call, the siblings that are being produced in. Now the number of, or the order in which the next generation is being produced, first the daughter is born and then a son is born, right? They might have 3 kids, third one is a daughter again. So n number of symbols and components are possible, right? Then followed by this generation, now she married another man and they had the next generation produced in, with one daughter and one son, right? So this is how the entire pedigree is actually represented in very simple terms, right? Now if I want to represent a affected individual, right? Let's say this particular in the parent, the male was affected with any disease that we are taking into consideration. So it will be represented with a black box, right? With a colored box of the same. If I want to represent a carrier female, so a center dot will be there, not complete circle colored, only a specific dot will be there. So this is representing your carrier, okay, and this represents your affected individual. Very, very important, very easy as well. If you like solve few of the segments, if you solve few of the question, you will not face a difficulty in understanding all of these things. So affected, when the entire box is colored like this, see over here, if it is completely colored like this is your affected individual. And if it is a carrier, it is with a dot. It can be like with the female can also be a dot, can have a dot, or the male can also have a dot. Then if the characteristic is heterozygous for the autosomal recessive segment, so complete box and half filled is there, right? Then this is parent and children, which I've just told you, male, female, female and the next generation, and the order of birth. So first a male is there and then a female is born, or first a son is born and then a daughter is born. Then we have a dizygotic twin. Dizygotic twin means from the same zygote, if two twins are being born, so it is like this. Then if it is a monozygotic twin, then it is like this. The two of the segments will be having a connection with each other. Then number of children. So if there are more than 3 or 4, so it will be crowded to showcase here. So in that scenario, the box and then a central number is written down, so that the number of individual can be represented, that how many sons or how many daughters are there in. Then deceased, if the individual has died, so the box and a cross, a single cross. Spontaneous abortion is a triangle. Consanguineous marriage, that is marriage between the siblings, this is with two of the symbols. And if the individual with the unknown sex is there, then it is represented with this symbol, right? It is represented like this. So remember about all of these symbols. They are very, very important. Followed by this, we have the various forms, or you have the various pattern of inheritance, right? Pattern of inheritance. What all different patterns of inheritance can be there? You can have autosomal recessive, right? We can have autosomal dominant. You can have sex linked recessive, sex linked dominant, right? So we'll discuss about all of these 4 things in detail. Each of these will in itself have a specific pattern which it follows, right? So, and if you know about the basics of monohybrid and dihybrid crossing and how does the male and female are born in, it's very easy for us to understand, right? I hope till here it is clear. It's very simple, right? Now, first one is autosomal recessive trait. Listen to this very carefully. First is autosomal recessive trait. Now, you know, autosomal recessive character is showcased only when you have both of the parents, or when you have both of the alleles in the recessive scenario, right? And for this to be in the recessive scenario, both of my previous generation should be having the heterozygous condition, or one of them should be affected. For example, if my next generation need to be this, I need to have either capital A small a as the scenario, right? Or second scenario should be capital A small a and small a small a. If you have any other combination in that particular scenario, you cannot have a recessive, autosomal recessive trait being showcased, right? So in this scenario, what will you get? You get capital A, you get capital A small a, you get capital A small a, and then small a, right? So in this scenario, it is possible, right? And over here also, you have capital A small a, capital A small a, and then two of them being small a, small a. So in this scenario also, it is possible. In autosomal recessive characters, either like over here, none of the parents are impacted, right? No parent is affected, but in the next generation you get to see the one of the child being impacted from the same. So this is your autosomal recessive character. In this scenario, either like in the case of autosomal recessive scenario, I can have either my previous generation completely skipping off, right, or one of them being affected, right? Because only in the condition of small a, I'll be having my next generation, like one of the allele of the paternal or the parental generation should be a recessive segment, right? So autosomal recessive mutation requires two mutated copies. We have learnt about this before, right? Usually appears in both the sexes with equal frequency. There is no absolute percentage that whether or not it will be there only in the female or only in the male. In male and female, equal frequency is available, right? Because it is not dependent upon the X chromosome or the Y chromosome. So it can be there on any of the two, right? It tends to skip generation. Majorly in the previous generation, it is not there, right? So in majority of the times, you'll get to see in the autosomal recessive condition, the trait being skipped in the generation. In one of the generation, it would be skipped, and in the next generation, you'll get to see it again. Why? Because of the heterozygous condition, parents being completely normal, and in the next generation, you get to see the same, right? So it usually appears in both the sexes, right, with equal frequency. It tends to skip the generation. Very, very important. It skips generation. So right now you're just learning one of the segment, right? But as and when you move forward, when you learn about all the four different type of representations in that scenario, remembering all these basic things, that okay, in autosomal recessive my generation might get skipped, and it is saying it tends to skip generation. It is not a compulsion. See over here, in this, the parental generation is not having it, and the children are having it. That means both of them were having heterozygous condition. In the next segment over here, you have two of these being here, but in the next generation also one is here. So affected segment, small a and capital is small a. So or capital, like, yeah, capital is small a. So in this scenario, in the next generation and in the previous generation, both the scenarios are there. Like in both of them, we are seeing the trait being showcased. So it tend to skip generation. That doesn't mean always skipping would be there, right? So remember about this segment, that it tends to skip generation does not mean 100% splitting or 100% skipping would be there, right? Also, when the parents are heterozygous in this scenario, that is here. See, capital is small a is here. So in the next generation, 1/4 of them will be showcasing the characteristic, right? See, 1/4 of them, 3 of them are normal, and 1/4 of it is showcasing the characteristic. So all these things are important, right? Example is Parkinson's disease, thalassemia, cystic fibrosis, Tay Sachs disease, phenylketonuria, etc. And this type of disease, this type of autosomal recessive inheritance is majorly seen in the individuals. It is majorly seen in the area where there is consanguineous marriage. Consanguineous marriage is that when the marriage is there between the close individuals, right? When it is between the two opposite sexes of very close relation, right? So in that scenario, you get to see the autosomal recessive trait being expressed, or chances of the autosomal recessive trait being expressed is higher in these type of scenarios. Did you understand the first one? This is autosomal recessive. The entire pedigree analysis is dependent upon your understanding of monohybrid crossing, and for the sex link, the XY link that we discussed, it is based upon your understanding of XX and XY, and obviously the monohybrid crossing, that how are the crosses being made between them, right? So it's very, very easy. If you have understood, have the next segment of autosomal dominant. In the same scenario, we'll understand. See, autosomal recessive is when I require both of my parental generation to have at least one of the allele being there for it to be there in the next generation. Now think about a dominant characteristic. Think about the second scenario of having a dominant characteristic being showcased. In the dominant characteristic, either of, like, even if only one of the parent having one of the allele also, then also in the next generation the dominant character will be there, right? So in my autosomal dominant scenario, if the situation is capital A small a and small a, in this scenario also you'll get to see the trait being expressed, right? Because for dominant character to be showcased in the next generation, or for a dominant character to be showcased in any generation, one single allele is enough, right? One single allele is enough in the scenario. So for that matter, in this autosomal dominant characteristic, there is no skipping of generation, right? You will get to see more of the or many of the individuals showcasing the trait, right? See, they are expressed when only one of the mutation is there. It usually appears now. Autosomal dominant also does not have any preference for any of the specific sexes, whether it is X or XY, means whether it is a female or a male. In both the scenarios, the percentage of it being showcased is same. Then both the sexes transmit in the trait to their offspring. They do not skip generation, because if a dominant trait need to be there in the next generation, in the previous one, either in heterozygous or homozygous condition, it would be there, and a dominant character can be showcased in both the scenarios. So it is the same thing. Then when one parent is affected and the other is unaffected, approximately half of them will be unaffected. That is, one parent being affected, that is capital A small a, other is unaffected. Then in the next generation, approximately half of them will be impacted, right? And if both the parents are impacted, what will be their scenario? What will be the scenario? Let's say it is capital A and capital A small a. In this, both the scenarios, both of the conditions are there. So in this scenario, all of the next generation will be impacted, right? Approximately half. And then if the parents are completely unaffected, no one would. We see over here, parents are unaffected, so you get to see none of them showcasing the characteristic. Because let's say this was homozygous recessive, and this also turned out to be homozygous recessive. Over here, let's say the scenario was capital A small a, and this was also capital A small a. So majority of them got the impact, but one of them got small a condition, right? So every possible scenario is available, which can be there in the next generation. Now this depends on our understanding that how are we analyzing the crosses, how are we analyzing the entire scenario together. So autosomal dominant character. Now see over here, if you think about that, okay, it is impacted, you can think about it as capital A, then you might get confused that why one of them is not showcasing it. So in this scenario, you have to be very like smart enough in understanding that it is a heterozygous condition. Then only there's a possibility of both of them being impacted, means next generation one will be in the situation of small a, that is the recessive homozygous recessive situation, and it is going to not showcase the trait, right? So that's the reason why understanding of the homozygous, homozygous recessive, heterozygous and homozygous dominant, all these things are very, very important, right? So this is about the autosomal dominant trait. If this is clear, we'll move forward to the third segment of X-linked dominant and X-linked recessive. Everything clear to everyone till here? Yes. Perfect. Now we have the X-linked recessive trait. Now, X-linked recessive trait. X-linked recessive means when both of them, or um, X-linked. Now, male is XY, female is XX. X-linked recessive is there, but in the case of males, there is only one X chromosome. So, if my previous generation female is a carrier, that is having one of the allele being recessive in nature, no matter what, in the next generation, as many males are there, all of them will be impacted. Why? Because my next generation will be showcasing the trait condition the male has gotten, that what do we call, the male has actually like inherited the recessive one. So let's say this is, let's draw it here only. So you have XX and XY, male and female, female and male, right? And it is a carrier. Carrier means, let's write down R over here, right? Now in the next generation, you get XX, you get XY, you get XRX, and you get XRY. So in the situation where only a single X is there and Y is there with the recessive allele, in that scenario, you'll get to see the impact being there. Otherwise, one of them will be a carrier and other two will be the normal one, right? So female can have, like, every single individual have a 50% chance of receiving an X and 50% chance of receiving a Y, right? In the similar scenario, you will get the situation, right? So X-linked recessive means, if in my previous generation my female, and consider a scenario if you have the female being impacted or a female is actually carrying the trait, so all the males will be showcasing the trait, right? No matter how many males will be there, in the condition of the female being impacted with the X-linked recessive trait, all the males will be impacted and 50% of the females will be impacted out of it. So these traits appears most frequently in the males because the males need to inherit only a single copy, right? So remember the first trick for your X-linked recessive trait, that every single male will be, or males have a higher tendency of inheriting the single trait copy over here, because male require only one X chromosome, and that X chromosome, if it is carrying a recessive allele, there are higher chances of it to be showcasing the trait. See over here, you will see more of the males being impacted here as compared to the female. So remember about this as well, very important. Next is X-linked dominant. So in the case of X-linked dominant situation, either of the allele, no matter one allele is there or two allele is there, even if one of the allele is having the X chromosome, is having the affected, so in the next generation, higher chances of male and the female also to showcase the characteristics. So trait that affect both the male and the female almost individually. Majorly, more of the females are impacted here. So it is, let's say, XR and X, right? It is crossed with XY. Now this is a dominant character. So whether 50% of the individuals will be carrying the X chromosome from the female and X50 chromosome 50% from the other one. So those 50% will be showcasing the character and other 50 will be free. Now also remember, if a male is carrying that particular trait which is X-linked dominant, all the daughters will be carrying it, because you know that when we learn about the sex determination, so in your sex determination, it is the father of the child that actually determines the sex of the individual, right? So the father of the child is the one which actually determines the sex of the next generation, because female can impart X chromosome only. It is the male which will be imparting either X or Y. So if XX is there, like if the father's sperm is carrying the X chromosome, so it will be a female, and if the father's chromosome is carrying a Y chromosome, it will be a male, right? So over here it is impacted. That means the X chromosome and the Y chromosome are here. So every X chromosome will be carrying the disease and it is a dominant character. So all the females, because the father will be providing the X chromosome, so all the females will be having it, right? So X-linked dominant character have all of these characteristics. Last, like we have one more which is known as the Y-linked trait. Y-linked trait means what? The one which is impacted or the one which is related to the Y chromosome. Now, Y chromosome is there only and only in the males. So every male will be having it if in the previous generation it is there, right? See over here, if the male of the previous generation, if the parental generation's male is having the Y-linked inheritance, Y-linked disease being there, so all the males in the next generation will have the disease, because same, because of the sex determination factor X and Y, male will be getting the Y chromosome from the father, and father has a Y-linked disease, so it is going to give the same disease to the next generation in every single scenario possible. So it is seen only and only in the males. Obviously, females do not have a Y chromosome. So every affected father will be delivering or will be getting this particular trait given to its next generation. So this is what Y-linked trait is. 5 of the different traits are there, right? Or 5 of the different type of pattern of inheritance are there. Autosomal recessive, autosomal dominant, sex-linked recessive, sex-linked dominant, and your Y-linked, right? Or not sex, we can write it down as X-linked dominant and X-linked recessive, and last one is the Y-linked. In each of these scenarios, you get to see a specific pattern being followed, and for this, there's a good understanding of monohybrid crosses and the sex determination required. Also, few of the question practicing is required. If in the mutagenesis experiment, you have a pedigree obtained. So this is the pedigree given to you. Okay. All the progeny had the same phenotype. The mutation has likely to occurred where? Think about it based on whatever you have understood till here and mark the answer. Give it a try.